Dance Your Heart on Fire podcast, episode number 38.
Then, of course, Tin Man will enjoy this one. I have said in a workshop that leads. You have three things that you really need to work on, that we're going to work on, that are extremely important. And I was like, the first one, musicality. The second one, musicality. The third one, let me think. What did I say? The third one, musicality.
Welcome to the Dance Your Heart on Fire podcast, the podcast dedicated to inspiring dancers worldwide whose hearts have been touched by music and dance. The universal language of dance and music is spoken by many of us throughout the world. We want to motivate the dancer in you by sharing stories, insights, and ideas to enhance your journey. Join us now with your host, Charles Ogar.
Hello, everyone. This is Charles with the Dance Your Heart on Fire podcast coming at you with another episode. And with this particular episode, I'm pretty happy to have a really cool guy that was actually in my home this past weekend at Neo Kids HQ. And we had a lot of fun dancing at the house party that I had here. And then even afterwards and talking things like that. But we have on the line Mr. Audi MPK, and he's a kizomba instructor here in the States. And I'll just give him a few moments here to say hello and give himself a little snapshot of what he does in the kizomba scene today.
Hello, everyone. As you said, I guess this is Audi MPK, and it is a pleasure to be on the phone, on the line with Mr. Neo Keys himself, Charles Ogar. Now, it definitely was a pleasure. Excellent time at the house party. A lot of fun, a lot of laughs, great banter, good conversation after. So, I guess what I do in the States, I guess that I am a instructor of kizomba, specialty urban keys and tarasha.
With the French accent.
Sorry, slipped up.
No, it's good.
But yeah, I guess would you like me to, give sort of background a bit?
Yeah, for sure. So you're a kizomba instructor here in the States, and we're going to get kind of go down memory lane and talk a little bit about your history and things like that. The house party was definitely an awesome time. We have some cool videos for you guys with Audie and I dancing together with a really fun follow named Pamela. And we'll put those videos in the show notes so you listeners can check them out. But yeah, we're both kizomba instructors here in the U.S. who now both live in Texas. We'll get more into that in a second. But let's go ahead, Audie, and let the people know, when was your first taste of dance? Not necessarily kizomba, but just dance overall.
Dance overall. Of course, I've sort of had a hip-hop R&B background. So I have, always done the kind of fad, dances, if you want to say, that kind of come out through the hip-hop songs.
Mm-hmm.
And Album Shake, the WAP. It's actually, I've listened to so much kizomba music, I forgot a lot of it.
Where were you born?
So I was actually born in Dallas, Texas, in Plano, Texas, actually, to be exact. And then moved and went to France for middle school and lived with my uncle there. And then moved back to the States. My mom was here. She was missing me. I was missing her as well. I went to high school in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of got into the hip hop scene and everything. And that's kind of where I first started dancing, really.
Did you go to hip hop dance classes? Were you part a hip hop crew or anything like that?
Wasn't anything like that. Of course, watching So You Think You Can Dance and Step
Yeah.
in these type of films. So, you're in the living room, had to scoot the sofa to the side, try to see what I can do. But no, really just, just listening to the music and music videos of hip hop and then trying to do the Harlem Shake. And then, of course, going to clubs and the hip hop clubs, kind of going in. And I guess in high school, that's where it was actually fun, where we actually, I guess, danced and had a good time. And then I guess at the university ages, I don't know, I guess everybody becomes a bit stuck up or trying to be cool. And so you pay $20 to get into the club just to really pay more money for drinks, stand there, bob your head a bit, sway a bit, but it was really, I guess, dancing. So that was kind of really the beginning part of it, that I never one thought that I would dance, never had a feeling of wanting to dance or anything. And then then progress. Then I was in university and was in France and hanging out with some African friends. And so I was listening to soukous and South African house music and Kuduro, Afro house, etc. And believe it or not, they actually played kizomba. And I remember watching, I guess the couple of my friends dancing it, just kind of in the apartment. It wasn't so appealing. It was kind of like, hey, I saw it. Oh, okay, I've never really seen a partner dance besides salsa and bachata and ballroom dance with the stars, etc. So this was kind of something different that I hadn't seen. So it wasn't too bad, but it didn't grab me, I guess, right at the moment. And then I guess because of the Afro House and them, I guess, knowing kizomba, we then went to a club in Marseille.
I got you.
From there, I walked in and it could have been 70, 80 people in the room. I don't know, walked in, high energy, music banging. And then I guess then the urban style of kizomba, and I guess having a hip hop background, it was kind of that, oh, this doesn't look like it's, ballroom or maybe a bit stuck up or maybe, hey, this wouldn't really be my style. It was kind of something I sort of really related to. And I think with it being so many people in the room, that high energy, I was probably there for just a few minutes and was like, what is this? Where am I at?
Yeah.
Why have I never seen this before? And for the fact that it was in a club, and I was so used to how you go to a club, and I guess sort of dance isn't so much, or especially partner dance isn't so much in the American culture. It was like to be in a club, to see the bar, to see different nationalities, and them dancing like this. It really was something different that I guess I fell addicted to right away. And then combined with not only the partner dancing, then they dropped the Afro house, and then it was like all the African music that I like, that I've started to really get accustomed to living in France. And then to have the line and everybody following, and then just the energy, the DJ, and then they shout out smoke, and from then it was like, oh, I'm about to move my bed here, and I'll be here every day.
Nice. So you had this awesome time at the club. You saw the urban side of kizomba that was more appealing to you with your hip hop and R&B background and things like that. So what were your next steps? What were your decisions? Did you jump into classes? Did you try to dance that same night?
I did, because we went with the group. I then tried to have, I guess, a couple other ladies and guys tried to show me, so how do I do this, etc. But of course, at the beginning, it's hard to, practice and get dances when the person you're trying to dance with is a bit more advanced than you. And of course, they want to get time to dance with people. So I had, a girl lead me, sort of, hey, this step, that step, 1, 2, 3, marker, etc. I had a guy showing me the same. And then I just kind of sat back and I just watched. Like, it's crazy. I don't know how he's doing it. And even just the 1, 2, 3, even just the walking, it was interesting how, why is he walking so smooth, but I feel like I can't do it. And really after that point, it was, I think, just seeing them have fun and then the energy and the amount of people, I immediately went home and was like, okay, so the dance was called kizomba. And like most people, let me type in kizomba in YouTube. Let
Yeah.
me some things. Then, kind of through that time, my friends there, they showed me a couple of the steps, sort of the basic. Okay, I had that. And then I believe I went to a class, and there I was able to a bit more understand sort of the base of walking and cha-cha, virgula, etc. And then really, to be honest, from there, being a broke college student, I couldn't go to too many classes, and I was playing football. And
Football meaning soccer.
yes, and I was getting paid, I guess, monthly, so it wasn't like too much. And as well, I played American football there as well.
I got you.
And getting paid, I guess, monthly, it was kind of hard to, budget through that whole month and then to pay 10 euros or whatnot to go to the classes.
Mm-hmm.
So then I guess because I became so addicted to it, I was watching videos and dancing by myself. And I guess most people find it interesting that, okay, you're watching videos and, trying to progress rather than taking classes. But I think starting off with good habits, I think, is key, actually, because you start to develop those habits and they really stick.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that early with my first class or after my first two, I really took away from it musicality, and leading is like extremely important. And the musicality I've sort of always had. I listened to hip hop and other things. Then once I started to listen to the African music, it was, certain instruments and things that it was just, hey, you have your tempo, you have that downbeat, but you have these other things that it was just, they just hit your body and they sort of make you move. So I was sort of just, wasn't a dancer at all. Probably didn't move my feet at all, but my, shoulders, arms, moving my upper body to different elements, I think I've always had. And so once I sort of heard how important musicality was, and I didn't know anything else, and to not be with the musicality or on beat, I think that was the thing that was talked about, sort of in the, I really necessarily say this, but the Black community of, having rhythm and different things.
For sure.
So I don't know, I guess I just hung on to that. And so I watched a lot of different videos of different people.
I'm curious to know who you watched. So was there any particular couple that stood out to you, or any classes in Paris of instructors that stood out to you?
To be honest, I think like most people, I think my first video was Albert and Sarah.
Albert!
Albert. And, but I think what is a bit different in my case was when I would go out to the socials, you see people dancing differently than Albert.
Yeah.
And for me, it was this, well, where's his videos at? Or I want to watch him on YouTube type of. I really like what he's doing there. So I think I had this influence that was a bit different for, I guess, most dancers in the U.S. Seeing that Urban Keys is sort of in its infancy here.
Definitely.
So I was already, I guess, that beginning influence looking at advanced, kind of skilled Urban Keys dancers. And from that, I guess, combined with watching videos and different things, and then I think I stumbled along Laurent Adeline. And I remember their technical step videos.
Yes.
Way back.
We'll put some of those videos in the show notes for those of you that haven't seen them yet. I think there's like 5 of them.
I think it is actually. And those were impressive. So it's crazy to see their evolution as well. And to watch the technical steps, and they're still like, it was just such an advanced level even at that time. And then I think I went to a class in Paris, and then what's shocking is was in Guani Kizzy's class. And I was like, after, through the journey of learning kizomba, then it became, wait a minute, I think I've seen these two or heard of them before. And so it was interesting at the time, just kind of just like, oh, okay, these are instructors. And I was there like once and kind of left. And I was like, okay, that was like cool. They weren't bad at all. To where now I've, through that kizomba journey, I'm constantly, listening to kizomba music, watching videos. It's like my world is kind of just centered around kizomba now. Now it's just watching different artists and seeing their inspiration, seeing how they show their personality and style in their dance is, I guess, quite amazing. Something that I really, I guess, admire in everyone in each style.
That's awesome.
And then I will say, picked up on kizomba, 3 years ago. So about a year, had 3/4 of a year in France right before I left. So came to the U.S. and then I guess went to Nashville, searching for kizomba there. It wasn't much of a scene there, not really at all. And then luckily, then there's a guy named Alan that was in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So sort of the word kizomba was floating around thanks to him. But then, of course, he moved, changed cities, and then there was really nobody dancing kizomba. And so once some people saw me dancing it, I guess they asked me, hey, do you teach this? Or I want to learn this, etc. So that kind of put me into the teaching role. At first, I was a bit nervous. I haven't really taught anything, actually, before that. I don't even think not even tutoring, really.
I got you.
And I guess from that point, I just decided to create a class, kind of read up on how I'm supposed to do this, what other people are doing, who are where I want to get to. And I guess started teaching classes. And at first, it was, I guess, choreography, the best way.
Just teaching like little patterns and stuff like that.
Exactly. And then as time went on, I started to understand, or I saw that a lot of different students don't learn a lot or don't learn technique from, patterns.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, okay, maybe you succeeded to do this pattern today, but what about when I want to change up the pattern? Or what about when I want to do this move at a different time where I don't really have the technique or I don't have the follow in that exact same place to, do what I want to do? And kind of just fast forwarding, and then I'll jump back. I really, I guess, feel like my pedagogy kind of improved after a private with Guani and Kizzy in the U.S.
Nice.
Sort of worked on dancing for half of it, and then the other half worked on, pedagogy. And so that, I guess, have made me really confident in my pedagogy and being able to, control the room and give, the knowledge and the passion that I have to see others progress in classes. So to fast forward back,
mm-hmm.
I will say after starting learning and progressing, I would say I was dancing kizomba for a year and a half. And then I started to, then I realized that kizomba, let me, use the terms correctly. So there's dancing urban keys for a year and a half. And then kizomba, I saw that it was a bit more popular in the U.S. So then
mm-hmm.
they kind of struck something in me to where I need to learn how to do this. In France, I realized quick, I guess because of how far along they are, you need to be, I guess, balanced in all of them because, of course, you have your preference and, your background of dance will lead you down a certain path. But you don't want to be the guy that dances urban keys and when they start playing kizomba, you go sit down. You want to be able to have fun, be up, dance every song.
You want to be well-rounded.
Exactly. And I think I was focused on urban keys at the time in France, so I never really actually touched into kizomba. So I never really started with that or had a background in that.
Quick question for you. In Paris, you said your focus more on urban kids. Were at the parties, was it like strictly urban kids? Did they play any kizomba, or did they play it and you not just dance it, or how was your exposure there?
They played mostly urban keys, because I think that's
give me a percentage of
in percentage. I would
like
say,
a typical social night.
I would say it could have been 80 to 20 urban keys or 85 to 15.
Nice, I got you.
And it could have depended on the party. I do recall going to a party in Marseille that I think might have been actually well balanced. I remember hearing a lot of kizomba, then kind of wondering, of course, you start with urban and you're like, okay, so where's the other songs that I'm used to hearing? What type of songs are these? So it was kind of different. But I think that was in Marseille. And of course, I went to several parties that were majority urban, but definitely in Paris, my times going up there, it was definitely a lot of urban keys and, that good fix for, I guess, urban keys dancers primarily of
nice
kizomba. And to where now, well, I guess at the time, I actually never, I realized because it was said that you don't dance urban key style to kizomba playing.
For sure.
And you don't want to be that guy, and even your, instructors, taxi dancers, people that are skilled, you wouldn't see them do that.
Correct.
So I guess I just wouldn't dance. I didn't really have, the base and understood how to dance kizomba. And to be honest, I was listening to African music, but to listen to kizomba music at the time, it didn't interest me as much. And then to fast forward, now being in the U.S., teaching, saw where kizomba was more popular here, so I wanted to be well-rounded. And once I started to, hey, let me work on my kizomba, let me work on my semba, let me take a few classes, I started to appreciate it a lot more. I started to see where by never trying something, you may not really understand it or have the interest in it. But once you see different elements and aspects of it that you wouldn't have seen unless you were dancing it or partaking in it.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say like my appreciation for traditional kizomba started with Marietta and Aaron, just because they had such an awesome energy, because, sometimes, we're both pretty aware of not everywhere you go, but some place that you go, sometimes there's some tension between urban kids people and more traditional / authentic people. And I got a little bit of that because I kind of set my stake in the ground on the urban side of things from the beginning, But just because you prefer urban or that's what moves you and you're honest with that feeling, I feel it doesn't mean that you're ignorant of the culture where it came from, of not just kizomba, but just dance overall, So I can definitely say that's where my appreciation for traditional started. And just because of their energy and like the positivity,
No, definitely. I will say that before I really, I guess, jumped into kizomba, it was almost a similar situation. It took someone that was open to, I guess, understanding, hey, there's a side of urban keys, and then, hey, there's a side of kizomba, and kizomba was the origin. It's authentic, coming from Angola, and it was sort of just said like, appreciate sort of where it came from. Appreciate that you wouldn't have urban keys if kizomba didn't exist first. And that like made sense. And of course, it's open and warm invitation to let me find out more about the culture. So I took an excellent class about the history with Lucia, and I've talked to you as well and got great information. And it definitely really makes you like appreciate it. As much as I love urban and it speaks to my soul and everything, I have over time really appreciated, certain kizomba songs and that feeling that it gives, because then I arrived to the point that, as you said, everyone has their preference, maybe due to background or whatever. It's not you dance urban, you need to dance the real thing or whatever. Because different people,
The music is going to move them in different ways,
Exactly. The same with like regular music. There's plenty of Americans that probably never listened to African music before. Normal, you're born in America, and if you didn't have any African influence around you, you probably wouldn't be music that would just speak to you. And so, of course, maybe if you're born in Africa and you're used to the African instruments and everything, you hear kizomba and it just speaks to you.
Yeah, for sure.
You're born in Sweden somewhere and you're listening to pop and hip hop music, I mean, it's more than likely you'll hear kizomba music and it wouldn't speak to you as much. But I would definitely suggest learning both, being balanced, and actually learning both really make you a better lead and follow. I have really realized that. The lead aspect in urban, of course, it's the different moves, different places.
For sure.
In my perspective, I think you develop more of a sense of musicality in urban if the individual isn't so eager to learn the moves and the teacher doesn't teach everything on tempo.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point.
Definitely. I'm listening to Ghetto Zouk and remixes and just the urban instrumental, these songs. You hear so many different elements that, in my opinion, it's easy to grab and connect to and move to where, in my opinion, not so much. It's a bit more difficult for me in authentic.
Yes.
But then by dancing authentic, it allowed me to really be able to connect. And of course, you can connect in urban and having a distance, but also the connection of being close, of really just enjoying the dance, enjoying sort of basic steps, enjoying just the vibe and feeling of flowing together and listening to the same song and that feeling that the song is giving you and leading with your body. That's something I learned with learning kizomba.
Learning to lead with the body is huge, and I feel like it just makes you that much more well-rounded, because your frame is an extension of your body. So if you understand what your body's supposed to be doing, then your body can match to that,
Exactly. I've seen several people that they lead with their arms and their body doesn't correlate or flow with what their arms and frame is doing.
For sure.
So it's
definitely. And another aspect that I've had discussed on this podcast as well is that my top love language is physical touch and words of affirmation. Those are my top two. So for me, I really do enjoy the closed embrace. There's scientific studies of hugging somebody for 20, 30 seconds releases oxytocin in the brain, so there's definitely benefits to that, outside of like developing the flow and all that kind of stuff. But I think it really just boils down to flowing with the music that's being played at that particular time. But even if you are in closed position, you can still do urban, You
can, definitely. And on the follow side, especially as you said, with Marietta and Aaron, who introduced or sort of opened you up to kizomba, they have trained Pamela, and so you are training Pamela as well. So this is a good example of a follow that has had both.
For sure,
I have noticed that that you get this flow from authentic and this way of moving your body and connecting and flowing with your lead body. And then from urban, you get this level of sensitivity and listening to your lead, and you can go in any direction at any moment.
For sure.
Paying attention to your balance, control, just the little techniques that that you must have and to be able to move all over the place like they do in urban. So it's really sort of, you limit yourself by not learning both, actually.
I agree completely. Let's take a quick moment to thank our sponsors. Have you been looking to level up your kizomba, but you don't have the local instructors to take you there? Are you looking for something concrete to practice with your kizomba partner? Or are you looking for kizomba lessons that you can take on your schedule in the comfort of your home? If you answered yes to any of these questions, look no further. LearnToKiz.com is what you need. Progressive, step-by-step lessons that you can take at your pace in the comfort of your home or anywhere with a solid internet connection on your PC, Mac, or any smartphone. New videos are added every month. You can try this awesome resource out 30 days free at LearnToKiz.com/podcast. After the 30 days free is only a low $15 per month. But again, the special offer for the Dance Your Heart on Fire listeners, 30 days free at LearnToKiz.com/podcast. You won't find this offer anywhere else. LearnToKiz.com/podcast. And now back to our show. So on that note, I'd like to, you have this MPK at the end of your name. I wanted to give you a few minutes to talk about what that stands for. Maybe there's a story behind it of how it came to be. I'm pretty sure some people would love to hear that story.
So the MPK, huh? So now, of course, MPK standing for musicality, personality, and kizomba. Musicality, of course, is just, as other people have heard me say, musicality is the most important thing.
The Holy Grail.
There we go. Then, of course, Tin Man will enjoy this one. I have said in a workshop that leads, you have three things that you really need to work on, that we're going to work on, that are extremely important. And I was like, the first one, musicality. The second one, musicality. The third one, let me think. What did I say? The third one, musicality. It's extremely important. Me and you both know it is, beautiful to watch someone, because one, we're listening to the music, so we can all hear this rhythm, the different instruments and everything. And
the music inspires the movement, man. Like
exactly.
You're not trying to move and then you hear music, you're letting the music enter you and control your body, it's a difference.
Exactly. Why have the song if you're not going to move to the song?
Exactly. You might as well I tell people, if you're not going to dance to the song, I might as well put on a metronome and just have that count the BPMs, and then you can dance on tempo to all your different things because you're not dancing to the song,
Exactly. I was speaking to Eddie Vince one day, and he was telling me the music is the master. The music is the puppet master that, in a sense, controls the dancers. So you can't not dance or not listen to the puppet master, but it's the music that is making you do things. And so it's almost, I look at it as, one, we know if we were listening to music and one was dancing, if they're not on a rhythm, most people and a lot of people will say, what is this, or what is he doing, or is he not listening to the same thing I'm listening to?
Mm-hmm.
I say that this is this sort of base level. And then it progresses to, okay, so you have the tempo, you have the bass beat, and you're on rhythm. Well, now to get past this basic stage, you have these other instruments that make up this song.
And make it unique.
Exactly. That now you as a dancer need to progress to dance on these other instruments as well. Because as you said, exactly, they make up the song and they make it unique. So therefore, when you dance, each, I guess, session of dancing is different due to the song.
Mm-hmm.
So you may say, hey, I'm going to take the basic walking, men's side, women's side, virgula. I mean, we can even stick with just those. And one who is musical, you play 3 songs, And with only those moves, all 3 songs would be different.
Completely different.
Exactly. And it is really pleasant, one, on the eyes, and it pleasant for you as a lead once you arrive to a point where you're able to do it, and then is extremely pleasant for the follow. Because imagine if you're a lead and you are musical, or you have a song that you love and your favorite part of the song is coming up, and you either want to sing in this rhythm or do this movement or this pause, and then the bass comes back, etc. And imagine that someone is controlling you, asking you to do these movements, to follow them, and your favorite part comes up, and they just blow right through it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look at it in that manner that you are dancing with someone that you're trying to, I guess, please, I guess, in one sense of why you dance, why you do the moves. You want to have a good time. You want her to have a good time, or to think that you are at a good level. So if you have this, I guess, perspective, you have to make sure that she is not bored because she's musical and she's listening to this song and you're just resting on the tempo, being basic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are able to be musical and the importance of musicality, just a simple dance is just like, wow, because you were just in sync with the song. And if the song was great and gave you life, it's just even better.
Definitely.
And so as you progress to being more advanced, I can say, I guess, progressing out to different movements, it becomes even better. Because not only was just being basic, it was great with musicality. Imagine now having the musicality and doing the movements that you want to do, that all leads want to progress to do, you know. Okay, talking too much.
But that's what, I mean, that goes into your personal interpretation of the music being musical, which leads to the second letter of the MPK, which is personality, right?
Exactly. So personality, it was just a sort of, inspiration, I could say, with the, style and show your style and kind of going through, I guess, this time of kizomba where, okay, you're dancing this way or that way, where everybody kind of has their style.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for me, it was, what kind of originates or what brings out your style is really your personality. Sometimes you can see people do certain things or dance a certain way, even sing a certain way, etc., draw a certain way, due to their personality. And what makes it great is we're all extremely different. And there is, I guess, not to be, the cliche or kind of go on this wave of, that's what's really beautiful is we can all do the same move and different movements in it will just be different and catered to kind of your personality, how you feel, how you want to move. So with musicality being most important and then personality, just, hey, have musicality and then have a good time, express your personality and show your style sort of through what you're doing.
Definitely.
So the end can be with a lot of different things. But then progressing to the K, of course, being kizomba, so adding the musicality and the personality and your own personality and showing your personality through your dance in the dance of kizomba. That's
awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to explain that and kind of your viewpoints on musicality and since kizomba is such a freestyle dance, like you get to really do what you want to do from the first count of the music, like there isn't like a basic step like you have in salsa bachata. It's really, you have an open canvas right from the beginning. And I know that can be difficult for some leads at times, but it is really an opportunity to really express yourself, and I know that's easier said than done, but I think it's a worthy goal to strive for, to kind of really express yourself to the music and what you feel,
Exactly. And I think to, sort of work on that is what is excellent is, as you said, it is a freestyle dance. Really, you have free movement to go in any direction off of any step. So I think you have a shirt that says it's not on one, it's not on two.
It's on
But
you.
there we go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's excellent. It's true. And a good benefit of that is one, as you said, it does make it a bit more difficult for some, because you hear a lot of people that ask, where's the basic? I don't see the basic, or I don't see this pattern or this base step that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it allows you to, I guess, be at home. And I think that's really how I got to the level that I am now. I was just so addicted with kizomba and the music that I was dancing constantly by myself. I've heard some say dancing with your invisible partner.
Mm-hmm.
That really dancing by yourself, you're able to really focus on certain movements, and it's you have to train and like work on it.
Definitely. Ronnie has a similar practice of that as well, of dancing by himself.
And I guess we see where he is.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely want to, find out what makes certain people great, or how they got into certain positions, and try to, follow certain techniques or what they did to get where they are. And and yeah, so dancing by yourself is huge. With like anything, you play soccer, you work on the technique by yourself of kicking, your foot motion. You're in a sport, you're working on running, working on cutting. You kind of have to really dedicate this time to work on your technique by yourself, because of course by yourself you can just focus on you. By yourself you can listen to the song and you can work on movements with no one watching. You can see what works. You can work on steps, how you take the step. And so when you start to dance with your partner, you already have that aspect.
And that instills confidence as well.
Exactly. And it does nothing but push you farther. You're able to, hey, I have the movements down. I worked on it. So while you're dancing, you can then focus on your leading and musicality. Or I'm working about myself and I have my musicality down. I have my movements down. So now all I need to do is focus on leading. And that's really where you progress and become great, actually. And I think that is a true key element. Classes and privates, to get the technique, to get this understanding that you don't have. But you can't just take that understanding and not practice it, not work on it.
For sure.
With anything you do in life, you can't just go and listen to something once, not take notes, and not review them. Learn how to do something, only do it once and not do it again. You have to take what you've learned in a private or in classes, at a workshop, festival, whatever, and go back and work on it. I mean, if you're dedicated and you love the dance and actually, taking this rabbit trail.
Uh-huh.
It's actually when you start off dancing kizomba and you're not as addicted because you're not having as much fun. Maybe most follows don't want to dance with you, or vice versa. Most leads don't want to dance with you. We've all kind of had to go through it, starting as a beginner and working your way up. Same with sports. You start off, you don't get put in the game as much. You don't have a great time, being on the sideline. So same in kizomba. In our dances, you start off as a beginner and it's not as fun. But if you dedicate time to training and progressing, the better you become, literally the more fun that you have. Like, it becomes amazing the amount of happiness that you receive, that I have received, that many other people will speak to, that they have from dancing kizomba. Then just dancing, period.
Awesome points, Audrey. The happiness that you have on the dance floor is definitely something that that kind of shows itself up in different levels the more you start to progress in your dance, you know? And as you do become more intermediate, more advanced and things like that, the more you're able to express yourself, the more confidence you have, the more you're able to play with the musicality, the more you're able to connect with different kinds of partners and things like that. You definitely have a lot more fun on the dance floor for sure. And with that being said, I like to go ahead and talk about recent times because, as many of you know who know Audi already, he recently moved to Dallas, Texas, and I'm based out of Austin, Texas. So we're just a couple of hours away from each other now, and that's why you were at my house party this last weekend. So let's go ahead and talk to the audience a little bit about that. I think we'll be able to do a lot of awesome things here, being closer together to help lift up the scene. And then not only here in Texas, but like overall in the U.S.
Definitely. It has been a pleasure to, I guess, change the scene and everything. Of course, missing, I guess, Nashville where I was at and the people there and everything. But, I guess a new experience, a new journey, I suppose. Excellent to, I guess, be in the same state as a guy like you, a dancer like you, an entrepreneur like yourself. And not too far away, maybe about 3.5 hours.
Definitely closer to Nashville.
Definitely. And yeah, definitely, I guess, thankful that the people in Dallas have accepted me and, kind of welcoming arms into their city, and already having instructors there. I'm definitely a guy about collaboration, support, trying to build an empire and bring things together. So I definitely didn't want to give the impression of going in and trying to run things or sort of try to step on anybody's toes or whatnot. So as far as at the moment, things are going well. I just have several goals, different things that I'm wanting to see happen, and sort of the guidelines of how I can make them happen.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have the One Kids Weekender coming up in about 2 weeks.
Yes, that is going to be excellent. I have a lot of the Keys family there, so that's really what makes it, excellent and worthwhile. Just having, my peeps and just that family and those good vibes from good people around you, and it'll be an honor to be there as well with you to teach classes alongside with you. So it's definitely an honor. Thanks to Sheikah in Dallas. I'm organizing the event. It is the second one I guess I'm going to be at, so really thankful for her and everything. So
Definitely. So let's talk about, just to kind of close out the podcast here, because it's been an awesome podcast with you sharing your story and your insights in how you view your growth in kizomba and how you want to grow other dancers. We know that the urban side of things in the U.S. is kind of on the smaller side. And now we have kind of two really talented urban dancers with yourself and myself here. And you guys will see the videos that we'll post in the show notes. We were just kind of like playing around, but it was really fun.
A lot of fun.
We were talking about it before the podcast of like kind of like the key people that we need to help grow the scene, from DJs to promoters and organizers and instructors. So I feel like the more instructors we get out there, the more we're able to kind of train students to start dancing and things like that. Because you take a look at Paris, like they have top-notch DJs, top-notch taxi dancers, top-notch instructors, and they literally create and exist in their own bubble. Like the DJs are coming out with music, the instructors are dancing to it, people go out to the parties, the organizers are organizing festivals and socials, and so it's just like a self-sustaining kind of system going on there.
Definitely. It is definitely almost exactly what you said. It's like a bubble, just a world of kizomba that they're all living in. And here I would like to see sort of like France, sort of like Paris, other places in Europe, to see kizomba kind of sort of go towards being a business almost, just in the sense of exactly what you said, promoters, DJs, organizers, instructors, really just working on their craft like it's a business, being accountable to things to produce quality and well-organized events, well-promoted and edited videos, instructors really working on their craft to
give great knowledge, working on the pedagogy to give proper knowledge, accurate knowledge to students, and then as well the students as well, receiving information, working hard, training on it, just trying to progress themselves, and of course, we cannot forget the DJs because, of course, me and you have talked, and it's not really many, DJs just primarily
Mm-hmm.
focus on kizomba to kind of make it their craft, and I understand that urban keys is not at a certain level I guess, for DJs to really just
Mm-hmm.
profit and make a living, and make it worth their while to just train and work on well mixing urban keys and kizomba at that as well, like DJs in France. So we really all just have to come together and continue to push. I guess as one, and try to not separate the scene, but grow it to where it gets to this point where, just like in France, like an organizer can just organize. So of course, if he can just organize, he can just
Mm-hmm.
focus on his craft and produce quality. And I think I was actually talking with a friend. A guy that actually just moved from Kiev to Florida, Kiev,
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine to Florida, and Jay,
Yeah, Jimmy on
Jimmy,
Hunter.
I
Yeah, I've been
think his
seeing
name
him
is.
post
Yeah,
videos.
yeah. Definitely a pleasure to have him and his talent. I guess in the U.S. and partnering with Andrea, and that'd be a good couple to look out for as well. But yeah, I was just talking with him about, like, I think the true issue, I guess, is, I think, consistency. Me and he was both talking, and as well, definitely, like being in Europe, that you see where it's they consistently, the kizomba dancers come out, and then the scene is so big. When we were talking at your house party, that if they are 100 dancers, let's just say, in a city or in Paris, let's just say, and hey, not all of them are going to come out on Monday, but if, like, you could get a good 25 or a good percentage of that to come out on Monday, and then let's just say, not even if those dancers don't even
Mm-hmm.
come on Tuesday, and a whole another group of dancers come on Tuesday, it's like this consistent,
Influx.
I
Mm-hmm.
guess, atmosphere, influx, exactly, of energy of dancing to where the scene never dies. And I think that it's, in a lot of cities, there's several people that dance kizomba, but they're exactly what you said one day. It's like kizomba is competing with, going to the movies, going to bars, clubs, doing other things, to where we know of kizomba dancers in our cities, but the question is, why don't they come out, for socials and everything? Of course, there is another side to it as well, to where us as organizers and, um, I guess, sort of the leaders of organizing events, DJing, teaching, etc., we have to produce quality. I believe that quality is another most important thing. That why would I, and why should I, and why should you expect me to come to your event, to listen to what you have to say, to learn from you, if you're not producing quality? And so I think a good way to grow the scene is to, in my opinion, for what I think, is you need a social, that is possibly, probably
Mm-hmm.
at a club, to where it gives you this ambiance of, hey, I can come here every week. It's nice. It has this come out, have a good time. It has a bar. I'm able to chill and drink if I want to. I'm able to sit down at this lounge spot or these chairs while I watch other people dance, and it just has this energy. In the club, rather than, hey, I throw the social at a studio and I have two walls full of mirrors with hardwood floor, and there's no really
Yeah, for sure.
ambiance, around it. That doesn't make me want to come every week. And then DJs are really another just most important thing, because they are the heart of the of the
Mm-hmm.
social, of the party. They are the ones that are producing the music that we're listening to. A lot of people say, "Hey, this song was just giving me life," and so it's the DJ that is, dropping tracks, that is controlling the energy of the room and the people there. That then as well, the music is giving the energy to the dancers to dance. So it's sort of a combination of, hey, when I leave and go home and say the night was just such a great night, it started with the music, give me this feel, this energy, and then me portraying my personality and how I feel, how the music makes me feel to the person I'm dancing with, to my partner, etc. And then you walk away saying that that was just such a great event. And I think that's what, in that particular sense of organizing and different things, that's what we have to do to really grow the scene, and keep people interested in coming out every night. And of course, as more people come out, then more people will come out. And people that like visit or pop their head in and they see that, hey, it was 20, it was 30, it was 40 people. It was the high energy. It was in the club. I'm coming back next week. So then more people, when they pop their head in, then it looks like, hey, it's 50 people, 60 people, and the number just continues to grow.
Definitely.
And I think that's what we need. And then lastly, just to wrap this up.
No, you're good. This is why we have the podcast.
Excellent. It's a brilliant idea as well, by the way. So big respect and props to you. We have to, especially at this early stage, especially with Urban Keys being in this infancy, like we have to support. We sort of have this Keys family, and a lot of us are kind of tied with one another. And I just love the way that we're able to stay connected and talk and support each other and repost videos and events and posts and different things, because we really need kizomba to just circulate for everybody to see it. It's not and I don't think you get far with just, hey, I'm gonna just post my stuff, I'm gonna work on what I have to work on, and I'm gonna do it myself, because you need to reach other people that know the people who are following you, let's say on Facebook. So when
for sure,
one of your friends shares one of your videos or events, etc., it reaches someone that you actually don't know. And so as the scene grows, as people see different events and different things floating around, the just awareness and knowledge of kizomba grows, more people want to take part in it. And of course, hey, if you're in it for the joy, the dance, if you're in it for the money, if you're in it for this to be, a job that you do, organizing, promoting, DJing, teaching, etc., the more we can all support each other, repost things, and support each other financially. And I've heard you talk about supporting each other in different ways, and it's different elements to supporting.
For sure.
If we can do that, more people, what we share and support, it reaches out to more people, and it only grows and grows and gets bigger. And I think it just brings joy to everyone.
Definitely. I agree 100%. So it's really awesome to hear your insights and have another person on board to kind of make things happen here in the US and in Texas. And I'm glad that you're able to, or willing to, step up into that role, because it is sacrificing time. It is sacrificing income. It is sacrificing energy and things like that for your vision and your goal for the US, So it's going to be awesome to have you here in Texas and collaborate and hopefully inspire more people, get more people involved, expose more people and things like that, and get it popping, and kind of bridge that gap between Paris and Texas. Looks like it's going to be becoming the next hotspot.
Hey, really? So we're gonna need all
right, Audi.
We're gonna need all the peoples to try to make their way to Texas, find jobs, live in the heat down here, etc. But seriously, I thank you for all of the hard work that you've done, the entrepreneur mentality, the drive, the resiliency to, I guess you've been doing it for a good couple of years, probably 3 years, I think.
Yeah, 3 years and counting now.
And we can all imagine how the scene was 3 years ago. If we're thinking, and some people are saying, hey, it's small now. So just the fact that you were, able to grind, and a lot of people don't have that in them to, I guess, start off trying to make, this urban key style of kizomba popular in the States, is true respect. It's an honor to be on the show. It's definitely a pleasure to be on the same, to be in the same state as you. And just quickly as well, you were, I think, the very first person I took a class from when I moved back from France. Actually, I think it was in Charlotte. I want to say, if you remember that.
Yeah, the solid. Yes, the solid salsa bachata festival.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely a pleasure to move back to the U.S. and hey, I'm looking for the kizomba how it is in Europe, and to see that hey, it's not, but we have someone grinding and trying to make it happen. The same with I guess Mark Brewer, of course. We all know this man, the myth, the man, the legend, all of that. But yeah, he was another person that class that I took, I think, right after it, and it kind of just inspired me that hey, it's we got some good people here in the U.S. that are grinding and trying to spread urban keys, and it sort of as well gave me a push to, I guess, if I love this dance as much as I say, I need to follow suit.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us and our audience today. Thanks for agreeing to be a guest on the podcast. I hope people will enjoy it, and we'll see you in Dallas in a few weeks there, where we'll be teaching and DJing and all that kind of stuff, and kind of throw down in Dallas. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, brother. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And one dance. I'm ready.
One dance. All right, brother. Take care.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you for checking out the Dance Your Heart on Fire podcast today. Be sure to check out neokizomba.com for links to everything that we chatted about today, as well as some awesome free resources to enhance your kizomba journey.